Have you ever wondered what it takes to get an Instagram post to go viral? Well, in today's video, I am gonna do a case study and break down one of my Instagram posts that went completely viral and got over 170,000 likes. And I did it all organically with no bots or any shady tactics. And the crazy thing is that I did this with an account that had less than 2,000 followers. So if you want me to break down the success of this post step by step so that way you can do that too for your Instagram posts, then keep on watching. So with Instagram and all of the algorithm updates and changes over the years, people are increasingly frustrated saying things like,
"No one is seeing my post, no one is liking my post."
And yes, I totally get it. I've had tons of posts that I put a lot of work into and they really go nowhere. So I understand that the Instagram algorithm can be frustrating. However, one thing that I have learned about the Instagram algorithm is that you hate the Instagram algorithm until the Instagram algorithm starts working for you. And then you love the Instagram algorithm. All right, so here is my account. It's called Rotoscopers. Basically, it is a place for animation addicts, people who love animated TV shows and films. It's a place where we can all come together and talk about animation, which we love. Now, as you can see at the time of recording this account only has 5,000 subscribers. And before this post went viral, it had around 2,000 subscribers. So that is myth number one, is that you have to have hundreds of thousands of followers in order to have hundreds of thousands of likes or to go viral. That is not the case. So here is the post, and basically it shows Elsa in all of her different outfits that she has worn throughout the Frozen series. I used concept art from the art of books or that had been released online because I really think the concept art is super beautiful, and I put this all in Photoshop and I had to move some heads around, and so it definitely took a lot of work, but I love seeing visual development and costume design, so I thought this would be a post that others would be interested in. So now let's jump into the Insights tab. Now you have to have a creator account or a business profile in order to have access to insights. And if you are against that because you've heard that Instagram doesn't promote your posts as much and that you're not going to have as much reach, that is completely false. There is no difference between business or creator profiles and personal profiles. The only difference really is that you get so much more analytics and data that you can use to help you understand why things are performing well or not performing well, which ultimately you can use in creating even more posts. So I say absolutely sign up for this. It just takes a few steps and a few things that you need to integrate. It's pretty seamless, but it is so worth it. So let's jump into the insights right now. So you can see on the Insights tab for an individual post, it shows a few things. At the very top, it shows some of the key metrics such as likes, comments, shares, and saves. These are the 4 main engagement metrics that Instagram looks at when they're deciding whether to further promote a post and to put it in the Explore tab or to put it in front of more users. So as you can see, this post had over 171,000 likes, 511 comments, 3,553 shares, and 49,043 saves. Absolutely crazy numbers. Other metrics that show up right below this are profile visits. So these are people who, when they look at your post, they're interested enough that they want to check out your profile to see, hey, what is this account about? We had 6,311 profile visits. Now you'll notice that my profile visits and the number of interactions were the same. Now this is because I didn't have any other action that people could take. If you click on this little information button, it breaks down more what exactly are the 3 components of interactions. Now it's profile visits, website clicks, and email clicks. Now let's jump down to the discovery section. So basically by clicking on the information tab, you can see that it has 3 components as well. It has impressions, reach, and follows. Now, one thing to note under this big reach number in the middle, it will let you know what percentage of accounts were not following you. And that's really important because you want to get this post in front of new people, new audience. You want new followers, hopefully, following you, engaging, and if you're a business, buying your products. And at the time of this post, we had around 2,000 followers, so it does make sense based on the engagement that we had that the majority were coming from people who weren't following us. So follows is pretty self-explanatory. It is the number of people who ended up following your account as a result of seeing this post. In this case, we had 1,228 new followers as a result of this post. See the difference between reach and impressions. They are similar, but they are not entirely the same. Impressions are the total number of times that your post was shown to someone. And some person may have been able to see your post 5 or 6 times in their feed. Maybe they were looking at different hashtags and they're able to see your post in those different places. Now, reach is the number of individual users who see your post. So even if they did see it a total of 5 times, they only are counted once in reach. And reach actually is the more important number because impressions is more of a vanity metric. You can have tons of impressions, but if no one's actually doing anything or engaging, that's not great. Now, the reach for this post was nearly 2 million. It still completely blows my mind that this post was served to nearly 2 million people. All right, impressions. Now I know I said impressions is more of a vanity metric, and that may be true compared to reach, but we're just seeing, okay, the number of total eyeballs that saw this post, how did they see it? And thankfully, Instagram does break it down into 4 categories for us. So you can see where were people finding this post. So the first one is Explore. So we all know the infamous Explore tab. So many people think that the Explore tab is the end all be all. If you appear on the Explore tab, you are golden. But you can see in this example, 22,859 of the impressions came from Explore, which is not even that many. It's maybe 1%. The majority of these impressions did not come from Explore. And I'm not saying that I'm not appreciative for the 22,000 times that this appeared in the Explore tab, because every little bit helps. But I'm just showing you that it's not necessarily the Explore tab that is suddenly gonna make your post go crazy viral. Next up is hashtags. So many people spend so much time on hashtags, and they just completely stuff their hashtags, and they think,
if I have all these hashtags, suddenly everything's gonna be amazing, and all these people are gonna see my post because they're clicking on the hashtags.
and yes, while people do follow hashtags and they look at hashtags, that in this case was not necessarily the reason for this success. This only appeared 13,000 times in the various hashtags that I use. Now, if we go back to the post, you can see that I did have a significant number of hashtags, and the hashtags were very relevant to this topic. They weren't random hashtags that had nothing to do with the post, and that is very important when you are doing your hashtag strategy, that you need to make sure that the hashtags you're choosing actually relates to what your post is about. So you can see in this instance, I had a whole bunch about Frozen, Frozen 2, Disney princesses, Frozen Fever Elsa. Then I have some more general ones just about being a Disney fan, Disney lover, and then I go into Walt Disney animation. So I kind of have these 3 different buckets of categories for what I do. You know, I have concept art in here because this is concept art. So people who are looking for concept art will see this, and then maybe they'll want to save it for future reference. But you can see that I don't have random hashtags in here like Disneyland. Someone looking at the Disneyland hashtag wants Disneyland content. So if I put a Disneyland hashtag here, no one's gonna click it because they're gonna be able to tell right away this has nothing to do with Instagram. And Instagram actually is not going to appreciate that I am kind of lying about what the post is about. They want us to be as truthful and honest as possible in categorizing what our post is about. All right, so that is hashtags. And already you're seeing,
Wait, I thought hashtags were the key to success. I thought the Explore page was the key to success.
next up is homepage. Now this is where you see it appearing in people's homepages. So this is for people who are your followers already. So you see in our 2,000-ish followers, it appeared 1,649 times. So it didn't show up in every single one of our followers, but it did show up in a good majority. And so that number is more or less going to match your follower count. All right, now it is time for the big kahuna, the other category, which I will say is a very frustrating title because other is not helpful in any way, shape, or form, because what does that mean? Now you can see here, basically 99.9% of the 2.2 million impressions came from other sources. This other section really was the reason the post did so well. And for me, these actions really are the most important things that I'm trying to do and trying to get users to do in order to make my post be seen by more people and hopefully go viral. First up in the other category is shares. This is something that is newer to Instagram in the past few years, and it is where people can share it to their Instagram story or they can share it to another profile through DM. The way people share a post is they click on the little airplane icon, and it allows them to do one of 3 things. They can share to their own Instagram story, they can share it via direct message to a friend, or they can also share it to a direct message group. And even though the shares isn't broken down here under other, we can see the number of shares up at the top where we see the little paper airplane icon, and this happened 3,353 times. So people either shared it to their story or shared it with their friends, and that is an indicator to Instagram that this is shareable content, that this is good stuff, that people are liking this. Now, next up is saves, and it goes along with stories. Saves is basically bookmarking the post for future reference. It's kind of like a mini Pinterest within Instagram. You can have different collections or boards where you can put things. And in our case, this was saved so many times, 49,000 times people saved this. This may be people in the industry or artists who wanted to save this for future reference. I have no idea, but all I know is that there was something about this post that people wanted to save so they could come back to it later. And Instagram loves this. That means it is a good post that they like and they want to remember and come back to. Next up is tags. Tags are the thing that if someone tags you in a post and then you go to your tag section, you can see all the different posts that you have been tagged in by other people. So if users are looking at another user's post, and then they click on what else have they been tagged in, your post is going to show up there. I actually did not even do this for this post. I didn't tag any other people, and that's okay. And it goes along with our next one, which is mentions. Mentions happen on other people's posts or videos where they tag your handle or your Instagram username in the caption, where people will then click on you, see your profile, and then click on your post and have an impression on that post that way. It's a bit convoluted, but think of it as it's telling you the sources of how people eventually find your profile and get to that post. Now, last up is notifications. These are people who have the notifications turned on for your posts, and that is how they get an impression for that post. They get a notification, they click, and they see the post. Now, the last part of this Insights tab is promotion. If we wanted to promote this post, we would have additional data on how well this is performing, but we did not do that for this post. This was 100% organic. Now, scrolling back up to the top, you can see how those 4 main metrics of engagement really did help this post be seen by more people, more eyeballs. Likes and comments are no-brainers at this point. People know that you have to have likes and you have to have comments on your post. But these newer metrics of saves and shares also really do weigh in the algorithm as to whether Instagram is going to continue promoting and showing your post. This post actually performed really well for a number of months. It's not like it did this all in a week, although it did have incredible numbers within the first week, but it continued to be shown to more and more users in November and December, even through January, which I think is absolutely insane and awesome and really goes to show the power of the Instagram algorithm if you use it correctly. Now, a few other things about this post that I want to point out. If we look at our caption, I made the caption very simple and easy, and I had a call to action. I said, all of adult Elsa's dresses in Frozen, which one is your favorite? And instead of having people to type out what their favorite one was, because if you look at, again, these are kind of hard to describe, and that's a lot of work for people. So I tried to make it very easy for people so they could very easily comment, letting me know what their favorite was. And I said, leave a black heart for the Do You Have to Go dress, leave a crown for the coronation dress, and yada, yada, yada. So all people had to do to engage was just to leave an emoji of their favorite one. And you'll see in the comments that people actually really liked this. They just put a quick emoji, or they would put their favorite emojis that represent their favorite dresses. They, of course, still had regular comments where they let us know how they were feeling, or they tagged friends. But all of these things helped with the engagement of the post, because one thing about human nature is you want your opinion to be known. So if someone asks you a question, a lot of times, if it's a good question, you want to let people know. And in this case, you had a variety of cool dresses to choose from, and I wanted to know, what is your favorite? I also had a call to action in the caption itself where they could follow us, and I called specifically, by following us, this is what you're gonna get. You're gonna get more animation, Disney, and Frozen fun. So I kind of made it very niche specific, so they know, okay, if I click here, I'm gonna follow, and this is the type of stuff that I'm going to get. Now, some things that I could have done to increase this post even more is I could have added a location, so that way people who are clicking or looking for a certain location could see my post show up, and I could have tagged other users on the post. Normally I do that, but for this post I didn't, and you can see that's okay. But again, those would have given me another opportunity to get this post in front of other people. Now, one last thing about why I think this post did so well is because this was right before Frozen 2 was coming out, so I did anticipate trends. I knew that Frozen 2 was going to be huge, just like the original Frozen movie was. I knew there'd be an uptick of people searching for Frozen content, being interested in Frozen content, looking at those hashtags. So for about a week or two before the post came out, I did a variety of Frozen posts that did equally as well. You can see this one had 21,000 likes, which at the time we were just freaking out about how well this post was doing. This one has about 10,000. This one right here has 26,000. And all of the other posts that we did had varying degrees of success. This one right here had 28,000 likes. And so we continue to build this momentum, and that is really, really important. We were showing Instagram that, hey, this is the type of content that we are posting on a regular basis. We were doing it basically daily. And so Instagram knew that it could count on us for helping to further the platform. They want to promote people who are continuing to put new content out for them, which ultimately helps Instagram. It helps keep people on the platform and they see more ads as a result because, again, Instagram is a business. They want to keep you just glued to their content. And so by the time this post finally did come out, we had proven to Instagram that we had really, really great content that people loved. And so we really benefited from the algorithm for that way. So I think if we would have just done this post as a standalone post and we hadn't done the previous work with the other frozen posts, I do not think it would have done this crazy well, especially since we kind of took a break on our Instagram in the months after. And the posts that we have done, even though some of them are frozen related, they don't even have 1,000 likes. And that is me being open and honest with you guys. I could have and should have continued to put more and more and more content out there because we had that momentum. That momentum is so important because now our posts really aren't doing as well as they were back in November. And if we just start posting daily content again and we start building that rapport with Instagram again, no doubt we'll be able to get back up to where we were. But we had a good thing going with Instagram and then we stopped posting. So Instagram was like,
okay, maybe not.
All right, so this is my Instagram case study on a post that had over 2 million impressions and 170,000 likes and all those other crazy numbers. And I really hope that by breaking this down, this helps to demystify the algorithm a little bit. But really what it comes down to at the end of the day is you need to be promoting content that is informative, educational, interesting, engaging, things that people want to see. If you're posting pictures of you and your lunch and it's not getting anywhere, maybe that's because people don't really care about you and your lunch. Post about something that people care about and are really invested in and become an authority in those things. In this case, it was all about Frozen 2, baby. If you found this case study interesting or helpful, be sure to give it a like and subscribe and let me know in the comments below what you thought was the most interesting or surprising about a post that had over 170,000 likes. That's all I have for today. I'll see you next time.